Good afternoon, Realm Walkers. I am Kirk Comet, the Realmwright of this podcast and the author of the Dragon Harvest universe. This is my debut novel, Demon and Witch, and I'd encourage you to check that out if you get the chance. On this podcast, we go over fantasy things. On Fridays, we talk about fantasy world building or writing or those sorts of things, magic systems. And on Tuesdays, we do something a little more fantasy fun, a little more fantasy social, if you would. And so today what we're going to be doing is building a Pokemon team for Anakin Skywalker, but there's a catch to that, so let's get into it. Okay, so in this episode we are building a fantasy Pokemon team for Anakin Skywalker. Now, is Anakin Skywalker in the Pokemon universe? Is he a Pokemon trainer or a Pokemon in the Star Wars universe? Somehow these worlds are mending. I'll let you decide, or maybe I'll give my take as we go as to why I would choose this Pokemon for this scenario. And maybe it's because Anakin is going up against gym leaders, or maybe it's because Anakin needs a Pokemon to fight Count Dooku. We'll have to see. But there is a catch. There are over 1,000 Pokemon. I don't have access to all of them in this episode. I can't just pick, oh, these are the top 6. Instead, what I have is a random Pokemon generator. It's going to give me 6 Pokemon at a time, and each time I have to pick one and only one. So if there are 2 great picks, I have to leave one behind, and if there's no great picks, I still have to pick the best one and make a case for it. I'd love to hear what your guys' takes are. I will give you all 6 Pokemon each round so you can see what the choices are. We are not going to be splitting Pokemon based off of gender, and we're going to be doing all regions, all forms, commonalities to legendaries. It's totally okay. All stages, we want them. So let's get into this. This is round 1. We are looking for Anakin Skywalker starter Pokemon, and the choices are, okay, we have some decent things here. First, Mudkip, a true starter Pokemon. Next, we have Xerneas. Then we have Silicobra. Then we have Hariyama, Primeape, and finally, Haunter. Okay, just off the top of the head, Primeape and Hariyama are fighting type Pokemon, so that makes some sense, although I feel like, Anakin is aggressive like that. I could see those being added to the team. But really what stands out to me is it's not the legendary in the mix. It's either Haunter or Mudkip. Now, Mudkip, because it's a true starter type Pokemon, I'm saying to myself, he should have one. He should have a true starter Pokemon. On the other hand, Anakin is just kind of like haunted by death continually, and we've got a ghost Pokemon who's an excellent archetype of that. And so I think we're going to give Anakin's first Pokemon, we're going to have it be Haunter. His Jedi, his first master, Qui-Gon Jinn, he dies, his mom dies, the love of his life dies. He kills his actual master, and then, his son doesn't die, but he dies kind of in his place. So we're going to go with Haunter for his starter type. That's slot number 1. Fill it in. Okay, slot number 2 on Anakin's Pokemon team. We have Mousehold, which I feel like is a cruel joke to give Anakin, to be honest. Fletchinder, Brushes, Hatchrim, it's pretty cool, Rayquaza, and Grimer. I feel like Rayquaza is an awesome pick, not just because he's a legendary, but also because, he's a space Pokemon. I don't have his data in front of me. I wonder what Rayquaza's Pokedex entry is. It says Rayquaza is said to have lived for hundreds of millions of years. Legends remain of how it put to rest the clash between Kyogre and Groudon. Okay, they don't speak much to it. But it's dragon and flying type. And right here, the first card they show, Celestial Roar. I feel like it's fitting since Anakin spends so much time in space. He's a pilot of the sky. He's a true astronaut. So we're going to go with Rayquaza, Haunter and Rayquaza. I feel like so far this team is not suffering the loss of only having 6 choices, but it's working pretty well. Slot number 3. We have Nidoqueen, Meowstic, which I'm actually not familiar with, but I like the design. Feraligatr, there's another chance to throw a starter back in. Scolipede, Regice, and Toxicroak. Okay, who do we have so far? We have Haunter and then Rayquaza. We've got a series of poison types, which makes sense to me. Anakin's mind becomes poisoned by Palpatine. We could argue that Anakin's ends up becoming kind of toxic to the universe. And then, Toxicroak, am I wrong? Is Toxicroak also fighting type? Let's see if we can get a fact check on that. Toxicroak. Pokedex entry. Do we have that? Let's see here. Toxicroak is poison fighting. Okay, so we're kind of missing the fighting type at the front of it. I was like, oh man, Primite is kind of grumpy. He's got the fighting abilities. I think Toxicroak is a good supplement for that. I feel like Regice is cool. It kind of lacks a little bit of personality. Although, that makes me think he's kind of like a droid. Anakin builds C-3PO. It's a toss-up for me. I think I'm going to stick with my first gut instinct. I'm going to put Toxicroak. So now we have Haunter, Rayquaza, and Toxicroak for Anakin's team. Finally, we're moving on to, not finally, fourth, we're moving on to our fourth pick, and we have Gastrodon, Wobbuffet, Frigibax, Nuzleaf, Diggersby, and Gengar Mega. I don't have a lot of experience with Gengar Mega. I do have some experience with Gengar, but I'm wondering if we shouldn't have a Gengar given that we already have a Haunter. What does that leave us with? I don't feel like Diggersby makes sense. I could see Nuzleaf. I could see that. Not Wobbuffet. He's a little too goofy. I think we're going to go with Nuzleaf. For that one. So that's 4. So, okay, we've got Haunter, Rayquaza, Toxicroak, and Nuzleaf. Let's see if we can diversify a little bit, capture some of his softer side. Looking like not for slot number 5. We have Pupitar, Golisopod, Zorua, Watchog, Kabutops, and Shelgon. I'm gonna go with either Kabutops or Shelgon. Shelgon's gonna become Salamence. It's a very majestic Pokemon. It flies. Kabutops is fast and kind of scary. Looks like he'd be hard to fight because he has literal sides for hands. I think we're gonna go Shelgon. I think that'll make the most sense in the long run. Last slot, and I'm hoping we can capture a little bit of Anakin's humanity. Okay, we have Ghastly, which I probably will not pick because we already had a Haunter. Another Gastrodon, a Hippowdon, a Flamigo, an Electros, and a Rillaboom Gigantamax, which the picture is not really showing me what. I don't know. I know Rillaboom, right? But I don't know Gigantamax Rillaboom. What does he look like? Homie's kind of looking crazy. Is he like a giant woodland drum set? I don't know. I don't know about that one, guys. No hate, but I don't know if that's for Anakin. Oh, man. So no Ghastly. I could see in his really light moments, Gastrodon. It's kind of a sweet, endearing Pokemon. It's still got some poison type in it. Is that right? Let's figure that out. Gastrodon, Pokedex. It's a water ground type. It's a sea slug. Okay, he hates the sand, and I'm thinking this is a coastal Pokemon. And that makes me say no to Hippowdon as well, which really only leaves Flamigo and Electros. Do we give our boy a Flamigo? Let's look at the Pokedex entry for that. Flamigo, this Pokemon apparently ties the base of its neck into a knot so that energy stored in its belly does not escape from its beak. Okay, but it is flying fighting, so that's good news. There's no evolution for it. It's very pink. Okay, let's take a look at Electros's Pokedex entry real quick. Electros Pokedex. It says they crawl out of the ocean using their arms. They will attack prey on shore and immediately drag it into the ocean. It's kind of scary. It's electric type. It's the final form of Tynamo. I think that this one is also, it says that, right, so it crawls out of the ocean onto its arms, or on by its arms, and will attack prey on the shore simply because this is a Pokemon that spends a lot of time on the sand. I think we're going to give Anakin a Flamigo. So, if memory serves correct, what we have for our Anakin Skywalker Pokemon team is Haunter, Rayquaza, who's our third pick? Haunter, Rayquaza. I know we had Toxicroak in there. We had Nuzleaf. We have this Flamigo. Oh man, I can't think of who our last one was. Well, you know it. Let's look through our previous things. Oh, right, it was Shelgon because eventually it'll be Salamence. Okay, that's a pretty decent team. Do you think that this would have saved Anakin in any moment? Do you think he could have prevented, for example, his arms getting cut off by Count Dooku if he had had these Pokemon? What kind of Pokemon would Count Dooku have back? I think it would still be a very interesting battle. I think Count Dooku would be scarier with Pokemon because he is a strategist, but he's a strategist who's a swordsman. And I feel like that's not his shining glory. His shining glory is like the Separatists and training General Grievous. And like General Grievous is powerful, but the reason he's really powerful is because Count Dooku knows how to use him and like supports him with an army and all those kinds of things. I think that would be an interesting fight. I think episode 3 could have played out differently. I definitely think that Darth Sidious would have some kind of like mind control Pokemon because he just plays the games. And I don't see anything in Anakin's roster that would necessarily. I think his Haunter is his best shot there, fighting type or not. Built to sustain against that as much, if memory serves correct. And, you know, that would make sense for the story too. Maybe the Flamigo would end up helping him weirdly at some points. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think Anakin's starter Pokemon should be. If the doors were open, if you could pick anything, what would you pick? I think if I was using true starter Pokemon, I would choose the Cyndaquil from Legends Arceus because it becomes a fire ghost type, which seems right for Anakin to become Darth Vader. But again, let me know if you enjoyed this podcast. If you like fantasy stuff, fantasy writing, fantasy world building, fantasy talks, please like and subscribe. That'll help you keep connected to us, and that'll help you know what's going on the podcast, in the Dragon Harvest universe, and more. Feel free to check out the next couple of videos that show up on your screen. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.